Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. There's a scene that I gotta get out the way. And I say I gotta get out the way because I felt like this seemed like it was just put in at the last minute. Like it seemed like it was just crammed in. And I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. And that is the Liz portion of this episode when she came in like 18 minutes in, talked to Carly about revenge against Nina, and then talked to Portia, because Portia was thanking her for the sketch that she did, and because she's still worried about, the dude that's just walking around asking questions about Curtis. So, yeah, um, that's pretty much about it. Again, I wanted to kind of do it because I felt like I was gonna forget about it. I was gonna forget about it because, well, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not like that scene wasn't important. It just seemed like it could have waited a little bit until they would have really got into it. I don't really understand why they just put that out there, but okay, sure. Sonny goes to visit Joey, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed this scene because he comes in and he's like, "Yo, listen, I heard about you was doing I was out of town, and I want it all. I want it all the offshore holdings, all of it. I'm gonna take it, and it's pretty much mine." So he just basically is like he's signing over everything, and if he doesn't, then well, it's gonna be a lot worse. Um, and Sonny, Joey's all like, "Oh, you win, you win." I was like, man, sitting there thinking about that tough talk that he was sitting there, going on about the docs, about, oh, Port Charles is mine, and blah, 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 and yet you getting waxed by some senior citizens. So, yeah. So, yeah, Sonny pretty much kind of took it all. Also wouldn't practically bend a knee to Ava about, the rise in violence within the family or whatever, as far as, Sonny being targeted. I'm gonna be honest, and I've said this before. I'm not a fan of that. The way he kind of dictates how much time she's allowed with her daughter and stuff like that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And Carly, I'm not even gonna get on that. But the point is, yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. So yeah. So Spencer isn't happy about his check, and he starts complaining like a spoiled brat. Um, and when Cam is like, "Yo, listen, you get what you get, and if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Are you want an advance? What are you nuts?" Um, Esme is like, "Yo, listen, you need to sit there and make peace with your dad. Suck up, do whatever you got to do. You know, get that money." You know, Spencer looks at the check. He's like, "How do people live on stuff like this?" You know what? Honestly, tell you, I was like, when he says stuff like that, I was like, bro, this is why I can't really be behind you. This is why I can't back you, babe. This is exactly why. So he goes to see Ava, and he runs into Trina. And he's all like, "Oh, I just want to sit there and apologize to Ava and make amends." And Trina calls him out for it. Trina calls him out. Trina's like, "No. Didn't we talk about this yesterday? About you being a better man, and yet you're gonna sit there and lie straight to my face." So she calls him out, and after a while, Spencer starts complaining about he doesn't have enough money, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do, and that's when Trina just literally calls him a spoiled brat. Like, yo, listen, you're an entitled spoiled brat. I'm done with you. Get the walking, pretty much. But Spencer's like, "No, what should I do? What should I do?" And I'm like, goodness. And it's funny too, because it's like Trina just had this conversation with him not that many episodes ago. And it seemed like we were just listening to the exact same thing. Man up. Do stuff on your own. Stop sitting there, relying on Esme, relying on your dad, be your own man, pretty much. So when Ava and Nicholas come back, at first, it seemed like Spencer was gonna sit there and bend the knee and be like, "Hey, listen, I want to apologize and yada yada yada." But he turns it around and he just does something that even Trina was like, "Yo, that's not what we. What are you doing? That's not what we talked about." This dude pretty much wanted to disown his dad, talking about, "Oh, I'm not a Cassidy anymore. I'm not your son, and I'm gonna sit there and do stuff my own way." Thank you, Trina, and walks off. And Trina just kind of looks like, "Oh, that's not what I. Yeah, that's not what I said." Like pretty much. Um, so that went left pretty fast, and I can't wait to see Esmer's reaction. That's gonna be great. Um, because I don't think that when she, whatever she was, whatever her plan was, I don't think she was planning on being with him like kind of slumming it or whatever. Um, so she is gonna be pretty pissed off, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I really can't. It seems like Esmir is playing some sort of game. I don't know what her plan is, but she talks to. Well, first she tries to talk to Jocelyn. Jocelyn's like, "Yo, I'm studying kick rocks." Um, but she's all like, "Oh, we should be friends. We should go to a cabin and stuff like that." And I don't remember who. I think somebody said it yesterday, or maybe Jocelyn said it today. Like, "Yo, listen, y'all can't pretty much afford room, and y'all barely like scraping by. Like, who's gonna fund this little trip?" And Esme was like, "Oh, we'll work it out or whatever." But again, Johnson's like kick rocks. So, um, Esme goes to talk to Cam and pretty much brings up the whole sex life thing. "Oh, you're such a gentleman, yada yada yada, blah blah blah." And of course, she goes right back to Jocelyn and starts trying to be all buddy buddy and friends and everything like that. And then again, she brings up the whole them not having sex or whatever. So I guess she goes and sits down somewhere else, and you see Cam and Jocelyn talking about how they planning on, having sex or whatever. And then Esme just kind of looks at like the situation and just like kind of smiles. And I'm like, what is your plan? I gotta sit there and say, as annoying and pretentious as she comes across, I feel like in a lot of ways, she can, she's better than Nell so far. At least, to be honest, she's more tolerable than Nell. And if I remember at the end, I kind of sit there and explain why. So, Shawn, I don't remember if, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember if Shawn talked to, yeah, I don't remember if Shawn talked to Alexis first or after. I think it was probably both. But pretty much there was one point where Shawn was like, why don't you want to come home or whatever? Like, don't you miss your house and stuff? And she talks about how she misses all the different stuff, like as far as spending time with her daughters, this, that, and the third. But she still seems like she's kind of hesitant, even as far as, I don't know, because Shawn, has some sort of, he got the money, whatever, to start some sort of non-profit agent. We have no idea what it's towards or what it's about, but it's a thing, and he wants Alexis to sit there and help him out. So after he pays Nicholas a visit to like get everything like legalized and everything like that, get like the documents and stuff, he leaves. And at this point, Ava's like, "Yo, listen, this is the second time that y'all two was talking and y'all had these looks on y'all faces. Like, she wants to know what's going on." So now Nicholas is like, "All right, listen, we'll talk about it. We'll just talk about it somewhere else." Of course, that's going to get sidelined because, the whole Spencer thing. But Shawn does come back and he's like, "I want you to sit there and be a part of this whole thing." Now, it was before, but, he pretty much asks, he pretty much tells like Alexis like, yo, why don't you just take the deal? And Alexis all like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to bend the knee to him like he did in his corrupt way. I don't want to make it feel like I'm just doing him a favor by, buying my silence. Like I'm not gonna do that. Um, but granted, this whole silence comes in the form of Hayden Barnes, and I'm like, Hayden doesn't care anymore. So in reality, there's really nothing stopping you. Now, with that being said, they're talking about it back and forth, and some guy walks up and is like, yo, listen, the governor pardoned you and you're free. And she just has that look on her face like she's surprised. I'm like, yes, you're free. You get to actually go back and be with everyone else and the cast and stuff like that. So that should be interesting. I'm not quite sure if I'm done yet, but I do want to talk about some rumors, and I have to put a giant emphasis on the word rumors. Now, my amazing subscribers listening to telling me about this, and I also heard about it maybe about like 40 minutes before I started reading the comments or whatever and stuff like that people have wrote me. And this is about the whole maybe Steve, the guy who plays Jason, there's a good chance he might get the axe. Rumors that he might be fired because his stance on the mandated vaccine. And somebody said the same thing with the guy who plays Jax. I generally try to stay away from conversations like this because, well, let's be honest, it's divisive. And it's gotten so crazy that there's extremes or extremists on both sides. You have the people that are just like, not only they don't want the vaccine, but they're anti-mask and they're judging people who decide to get the vaccine. Then there's people that are on the other side that take it a step too far and is all like, well, you got to get it, and if you don't get it, then you're fired, and blah, 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 blah. And see, I'm on the belief that you have to do that works best for you. Whatever works best for you, that's what you should do. You shouldn't sit there and be peer pressured one way or the other into doing something that you don't want to do. I got the vaccine, but I'm not going to sit there and judge other people if they don't get it. And let's just sit there and say it's true for a moment that ABC is deciding to fire the actor that plays Jason because of his stance on, mandated vaccine. I'm going to be honest, I support him. I support him. Because here's the thing. I'm no scientist, no doctor. But from what I've seen, that even if you get the vaccine, it doesn't mean that you can't catch it. And that's the thing. I wouldn't sit there and say that's pissed me off, but it's pissing me off because they're doing this whole, well, if you don't sit there and get the vaccine, then you're fired. And it's like, okay, well, what happens if you get the vaccine and you still catch it? Because at first, the promises was, well, if you get the vaccine, then you don't have to sit there and worry about it. You don't have to you're not going to get COVID because you took the vaccine. Then it was, well, you'll get COVID, but, it's a symptom, it relieves the symptoms or whatever. It's not that bad. And then it was, well, maybe it relieves the symptoms or whatever, depends on the person. So you get to a point where it's like, all right, so you're going to sit there and fire this man because he doesn't want to get the vaccine. But if somebody else gets the virus and they got the vaccine, then what was the point of it? So I'm not a fan of places and businesses telling you, well, you have to get the vaccine or else. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there saying like, it's win away tomorrow. Everyone can sit there and remove their mask. No, whatever. No, I don't. I would like to sit there and believe that just because the actor that plays Jason may have a stance against a vaccination, that doesn't mean that he wants to sit there and just start throwing parties left and right, and then going to work on Monday morning like, hey, listen, we're gonna sit there and do a scene together. Like, no. I'm pretty sure he does whatever he can to sit there and be caution, and stuff like that, because he's not just worried about the people that he works with. He has a family. Side note, have anyone actually seen his wife? Because his wife looks like a very fit version of Laura Wright. Like, it's insane. Like, even down to the face a little bit, down to the hairstyle. Like, I saw her a couple of times and I'm just like, Steve, is something you want to sit there and tell me? Like, I just, if you see the pictures, if you go and you see the pictures of his wife, I'm just like, yo, listen, she looks just like the woman that plays Carly. Like, no joke. I would almost sit there and think that they're related. Like, it's that much of facial features. But yeah, I kind of want to sit there and say this because I'm not one to sit there and stir up controversy and stuff like that. I'll be like, oh, well, you're for the vaccine, so I don't want to follow you. Or you're against the vaccine, I don't want to follow. No, I think that you should do what you feel you need to do that works for you. And if you feel that you don't want to sit there and get the vaccine for whatever your reasons are, I support that. And if you want to get the vaccine for reasons that you want to get it, I support that too. I support a choice. That doesn't mean that, you can't, you shouldn't be cautioned and, have some sort of caution and stuff like that. And, even with the whole, the guy who plays Jax and, Nancy and stuff like that going back and forth, like, it just... And then you got Kimberly that's practically sitting there wanting to get this guy, get him fired, which is... I am so not against that. Not even for the simple fact that she doesn't even work there anymore. Just for the simple fact that it's like, yo, you can have a conversation and disagreement. And when you start messing with someone's money, that's where there's a problem. So I want to sit there and talk about it because, right now it's just rumors. It's just rumors. But, unfortunately, it's one of those things where, rumors... I hope there's a rumor. I really hope that there's a rumor that, the guy that plays Jason isn't getting fired. Because, listen, I love Drew as a character, and I would have been happy if he would have stayed on as Jason. But I felt like, for me personally, I started the show with Steve as Jason. And to be honest, I can't imagine anyone playing Jason other than him. So the fact that he came back, and they're just like, no, you if you don't get this shot, then you're not going to be on the show. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can do like testings and stuff like that, like weekly testings and whatever. Like, it shouldn't have to come to a point where you fire him because he doesn't want to do something that, whatever his belief is, whatever his stance is, he don't want to do. I'm going to sit there and leave that alone just for now because, again, it's just rumor. But if it affects the show, I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I kind of covered everything. But I also feel like I kind of missed a couple of things here or there. So if I did, please let me know in the comment section. I think I got the majority of the episode. This was a decent episode. It wasn't amazing, but it was decent. I always have to sit there and kind of realize, just as a fan, that not every episode is going to be like, oh my goodness, I was so glad that I was here to sit there and watch it. It was okay, you know. I just don't want to ever get to a point where it's just like, bro, this was so difficult to watch. Just like it was damn near torture. But I don't think I've really actually seen too many episodes like that. There's been certain characters. Oh, Esme. This is something. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of bad with names. So if I mess up your name, is by accident. I think it's like Brittany, and the last name is Erica. Made a very good point as far as GH, just wasting certain characters. They'll either will waste a certain character or they'll just kill them off altogether. And when I was sitting there talking about Esme, compared to Nell, here's the thing. In the beginning, I think that Nell had a great story. And I think it would have been really cool to sit there and have her be on the show as a redemption arc. But instead, for some odd reason, they decided to make her a villain. And in kind of the dumbest way possible. I mean, she lost her job at Crimson because she tried to blackmail Nina. She told a really stupid lie to Michael because she didn't want to sit there and deal with his family. So she told some sort of lies this way they wouldn't have to go to an event. And it was so dumb. Because it's not like Michael didn't know how his family was treating her. But it was one of those things where it was one too many lies. So Michael was like, yo, listen, we're done. And then, at that time, Nell wasn't really making a lot of money. And Michael was pretty much letting her stay in a building rent free. And so when Michael decided to cut ties, Nell was like, well, what about my apartment? And she just turned into this. I mean, she turned into a villain, but it was just very immature. She was all like, oh, well, Carly, I won't let Carly win, this, that, and the third. She wouldn't let her child get a certain procedure that was going to help him live a better life because she wanted to sit there and spite them. Stuff like that. And it got to a point where it was just like, she just wasn't making a lot of sense. I mean, she ran into the woods in the dark and then fell off the cliff like an idiot. And granted, that's what I was meant to talking about, how it seems so far that Esme is a better villain than Nell was. This, in my opinion, because she just, after a while, she just started to get to this one-note, one-dimensional character. It was just like, okay, sure, whatever. Anyway, I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. I hope everyone has an amazing and safe weekend. I always do emphasize the word safe because, it's getting like the Wild West out there. It is. And I do care about each and every single one of my subscribers because I really do love seeing, people writing the comments and stuff like that, seeing their faces and seeing their pictures and knowing who's who and stuff like that. So, when I say that I hope everyone has a great and safe weekend, that means I want to see y'all back on Monday, living it up, having your best life, and tuning in to watch soap operas and stuff like that so we can sit there and chat because my subscribers, it's very important to me. I'll sit there and say, I'm not trying to get all misty-eyed, but I'm just going to sit there and say, everyone that watches my channel is very important to me. So, yes. With that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.